From N.K. Jemisin's award-winning urban fantasy about saving a city to the two teenagers fighting for their freedom in Sabatahir's An Ember in the Ashes, here are some fantasy TV show adaptations we'd rather see than Harry Potter. Starting with N.K. Jemisin's The City We Became. The Great Cities duology series was bought by Walden Media for TV in 2023. The first book, The City We Became, takes place in our world, but there's one big difference. Cities can become intelligent, and when they do, a human image takes their place. The book's mostly about New York City, where 5 avatars, one for each borough, fight to stop an evil enemy from taking over the city. Most of the main characters are people of color, but the enemy's an ancient expression of racism and xenophobia in the style of Lovecraft. The fight that follows is a fast-paced race across New York, where our avatars work together as a new family to save the city they love. It's a great piece of urban fantasy with strong ideas, interesting characters, and sets that would work great on the big screen. But if you're looking for a grim, dark, and heartbreaking fantasy series, this next adaptation would be the one for you. R.F. Kuang's The Poppy War. Starlight Media bought the rights to The Poppy War, The Dragon Republic, and The Burning God in 2020. In The Poppy War, we go to the Kingdom of Nikan, where a war orphan named Rin fights her way into the best military school in the country. As war breaks out, she learns how to use a godlike power, only to find that it comes with a terrible, terrible price. The main character Rin's fierce determination is enough to make me want a TV adaptation. But Kuang's complex world-building makes fans want it even more. She skillfully weaves together parts of Chinese history from the 20th century and the Opium Wars, with a scary group of magical gods and the shamans who can talk to them. The result is a brutal look at war with epic battles and sad character arcs that can stand up to any current fantasy show. Which is all great, but I know some people like a good fictional retelling of an old myth, so they might like this next one. Tracy Deonn's Legendborn. It's one of the best Arthurian retellings for young adults because it combines an old story with great young adult writing. In 2022, Black Bear Television bought the rights to the show and said that Felicia D. Henderson would be in charge of the remake. In case you didn't know, he was in charge of The Punisher, which turned out great, so you can trust him with this one. In Legendborn, you meet a 16-year-old high school student, Bree Matthews, who's in a residential program at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. There she finds the Legendborn, a secret society made up of the straight descendants of King Arthur and his knights. Most of the members are white and Bree's black. When Bree's drawn into this world of magic, swords, and monsters, she soon finds out that she has more power and a bigger role in this legend than she thought. Deonn's writing a thrilling story for young adults, with a main character who's easy to like, and the story contains a deep message. This book isn't only a fun adventure through well-known stories, but also digs deep into sadness and trauma that's been passed down from generation to generation, which are all great selling points. But one of the things that makes fantasy shows exciting is action. A lot of it. Not to worry though, there's definitely one adaptation I have in mind for that. Fonda Lee's Jade City. It's got magic and kung fu. What else do you need, really? In a sad turn of events, Peacock was working on the Jade City series before it was canceled. Lee said in a tweet that the project was looking for a new home, so there's still a chance that we could see this on TV. Janloon, the capital of the island country of Kukon, and the Jade City in question is the only place in the world where magical bioenergetic jade can be made. There, the Call family fights off other groups while trying to control how much jade's manufactured. The resulting series is a big, exciting family story with lots of interesting talks and heart-pounding fight scenes. The Call family will definitely win you over, even if the world building doesn't. Succession is almost over, so we need a new TV family show to become obsessed with. So, why not The Calls, with their jade-wielding, gang-leading glory? While most of the adaptations I've mentioned so far haven't reached a screen yet, some have already, but need a little bit of a revamping. Like Ursula K. Le Guin's A Wizard of Earthsea. It was turned into a movie by Studio Ghibli in 2006, and then into a 2-part drama in 2004. In 2019, A24 Studios stated that they were planning to make an Earthsea show. There hasn't been any new breakthrough though, which is a shame. It's a magical coming-of-age story about a mage named Ged who goes to the island of Roke to learn. Later books in the series move away from the school setting and add new characters, giving us a bigger picture of Earthsea and all of its people. It's been made into movies and plays, but none of them have really captured the magic of the books. A TV show, which should be made, might finally do it justice. Speaking of doing a book series justice, anyone who has ever read this next one was probably dying to see it adapted on screen. I'm talking about The Gods of Asgard and Magnus Chase. I've been waiting a long time for movies and TV shows based on Rick Riordan's books, and this one is easily Riordan's best series. The success of shows like Vikings, Vikings Valhalla, and in extension the Thor movies have made people interested in stories about Vikings. The series is about Magnus Chase, who's the son of a Norse god and is related to Annabeth Chase, the main character in the Percy Jackson books. Magnus tries to stop Ragnarok, which is another name for the end of the world. The Percy Jackson series that Disney is making is under a lot of pressure. If it works and becomes famous, there's a better chance that more of Riordan's stories will be turned into TV shows and movies. In the last few years, Disney Hyperion has put out YA fiction books under the Rick Riordan Presents stamp. These books focus on mythology and stories from cultures other than Greek, Roman, and Norse. More books and series from the imprint, like the Tristan Strong Trio by Kwame Mabalia and the Aru Shah series by Roshani Chokshi, would make great TV shows. Speaking of rich fantasy worlds, this next series has so much going on that it'll make a great movie series and a great TV show. An Ember in the Ashes. Written by Saba Tahir, this would make a great show because the 4-book series has a lot of material. I could also see this story as a movie series, but I think it'd be much better as a TV show because there would be more time to show how big this world is and to develop the characters. Also to show how time goes by in a way that wouldn't work on the big screen. An Ember in the Ashes was going to be a movie series at one point. In 2013, Paramount bought the rights to the books. Unfortunately, nothing really worked out, and it's hard to know if it's still possible to make a TV show based on the book series. But I have my fingers crossed. The series is about 2 teenagers, Laia and Elias, who are fighting for their freedom and trying to get rid of the cruel martial empire, which is like ancient Rome. The story includes everything from fights to battles, along with magic, heists, romance, mysteries, and so much more. If you like magic books but have never read An Ember in the Ashes, you should do so. And I'm sure you'll agree that the books should be turned into a TV show too. That's all for fantasy TV show adaptations we'd rather see than Harry Potter.